So, oh, maybe I went off topic a little bit.
No, that's definitely...
But I think that has a lot to do with it. And like I said, me as a female seeing the when I noticed that years ago. I was looking around like Washington D.C. and everything, and I look at it and I'm like,
no, you can go. I'm just saying. I'm just reacting. I'm like that.
No, it's just a lot of men just came across so not man-like. You know what I mean? Like it was. I almost feel like if we would be stuck in the middle of the woods, I would be the one carrying you on my back. And who cares about your suit at that point? I will use your tie to maybe, I don't know, hunt for something.
But here's the thing. And I'm not throwing any culture or any community under the bus. So I'm not even going to mention any more names at this point. But my thing is that I find that a lot of folks... Okay, here's a point that I'm going to make about men going their own way. And I'm being very differential. Like I said before in my other video that I'm about to post after this video, we used to have secret spaces. Let's remember, I'll have you listen to what Sam Blackman said. We used to have secret spaces. And the internet dismantled the secret spaces. So which means that back in the day, something like men going their own way would be for men. It would be a place. But guess what? Not anyone could just go into it. Men have,
there's categories of...
You'd have to be like, well, no, let's see.
Boy, you maybe need to do more before you can enter this room, you know?
Yeah.
So it's that policing of like your maturity as a man. You have not come into it fully yet.
Or even a woman's place.
No, females have the same things.
Yeah, they would
no. Females have the same thing, which was the chick area and the dude area. And then
it's the same thing with...
allow men and female to decompress.
And it's the same thing with MBTI and men going their own way. Exactly.
There was a time when the male called out females for not being female-like, I guess is the word, or feminine enough, and the females would tell men like, yo, step up. Like, if you watch 60s, 70s, what do they used to say? Boy, get it together. Girl, no.
And that's one of the problems that I'm having, because there's this guy online, and I was doing research, he was like, hey, like, I want to call this girl out on her BS. Like, she was flaking, she does this, that, and third. And all the responses was of, don't waste your... But like, very masculine sounding men, very like sure of themselves. Don't waste your time on calling out, because that just shows that you have no level of respect for yourself. You're wasting time. That means that you don't have a purpose, that you're more worried about what other women think. Don't call them out and don't do this.
No, that's not it.
And I was like, yo, like, if you are BSing me, I'm gonna call you out. And I'm
that at this point it doesn't even make sense if you're female or male. This is just like that accountability and society keeping each other in check and on their toes, which you need. Because then that's why everybody started going to their corners, because they now met with this like, yo lady, how can I say? Like, I see how it's hard for a man to always go out there and put themselves out there trying to find a female. Because what happens? It's always expected for male to approach it, for male. And those females are going to come out here and say, yeah, females do that too. Like, okay, 10% out of the time, not freaking 90. Case closed. So, like men always the ones, right? They are expected to be the ones. Hey lady, it looks like something fell off the sky. That must be starred looking just like you. Like, they have to come up with these things to say to kind of woo you, whatever. Like, they need to practice, make sure this comes off naturally but not cheesy. Like, this is freaking hard work. That's freaking hard work. If I would, as a female, have to do that, I would be like, oh my God, what's the point? I would be like a male, retract to my own retreat and don't come out. So now at that point, it's female's job to make this process for a male not so freaking miserable. And today's females, I have to admit, too sure of themselves. Just because the man approaching the bar is trying to start a conversation with you and you being all snooty, oh, it's not, who you talking to, man? Like all that, you know. At that point, if the male approaches you and that's how you respond, you right away put the person down, not even looking at if it's a female or male. You just kind of totally like, you're not up to my standard, or you're trying to get my, you know, whatever. At that point, I as a female, give that male every right to go and say, maybe makeup helped your face, but that makeup cannot help your personality. And thank you for not wasting my time and telling me up front what kind of bitch you are. At that point, male has all the right to go to town with you like that. Check yourself. Because, you see what I'm saying?
And you know what's so funny? Speaking of that, I remember when you came to me and you had experienced this guy actually checking you out and approach you, but you were so fascinated by the fact of how he did it. Mm-hmm. And you were like, hey, I'm not interested in the guy. Remember it was at the gym? It
was at the gym, yeah. So, he was so much younger.
but explain that story.
So, you know, like, it's the cardio area and I'm running, right? On the machine, and then I feel with one corner of the eye, I see that the male figure is coming, right? And he comes, but not in the machine next to me, but 2 machines over. Even though there's so many of them, the gym's empty, it's freaking nighttime. You kind of come like close. So I'm like right away feel like somebody might start to talk to me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I appreciated that he didn't start talking to me while I was running. He did his own thing. He was running, right? And then I was done, you know, he kind of slowed down. He let me, you know, a minute or two to catch my breath and just so, you know, get the head buds off, you know. Once I took them off, he was like, you know, waved his hand and started asking me like, you know, I see you running here a lot and things like that. Yes, I do, you know, run a lot, try to whatever. You know, you picking up speed. What's your speed? You know, like basic questions of like just, even if it was, let's say, farting out of his ears, he kind of, I felt like, oh, that's nice. Man is doing the homework, how to get into the conversation without being cheesy, like you fell from the sky, stupid stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, so I appreciated that. I saw that I recognized it off the bat, right? And then, like a couple minutes in, he obviously was trying to figure out, you know, if this girl has a boyfriend, a husband, what's going on there. So he kind of sneaked in there like, so I see you exercise all the time, and do you usually exercise with somebody else, you know, your husband or boyfriend, whatever. And I don't remember exactly how the sequence went, but I said something about, I said something about that, you know, sometimes I train with my husband downstairs, right? And then a couple more sentences went, and then he said something like, what it was. No, and then he said, oh, so do you sometimes exercise, you know, would you like to exercise? What was it? Oh, it's going to bother me now. But basically, bottom line is that he made a mistake, that he asked me a follow-up question without realizing that I already answered the question by stating that I have a husband, you know? So I almost felt like he had this scenario and I kind of jacked it up for him, you know what I mean? And then he asked that bomb question, but I kind of answered it already earlier, and then it was like, oh shit, the guy felt probably so embarrassed. But the thing about it was that I wasn't a bee about it, you know what I mean? I was taking that pressure away from him and just making it, you know, like it's all cool. Like next time I will see you at the gym, like, you know, peace, and I will not alienate the person or start like laughing like, oh my God, didn't you just hear what I said? Like my whole point is, I think it's our job as a females to kind of be team players in these situations for men. You know, you females do your part, men do be a team player. I'm not saying you have to date the guy. Give the respect.
Okay, but let me ask you a question though. But do you think you take that perspective because you can play with him and be like, oh, well, I can dissect his situation because you're married, so you don't have to worry about taking, the chance of possibly dating him. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, would you have been able to dissect it?
The risk is...
Like, would you have been able to dissect it? Would you have been...
Yeah, I have to make it fair. I see certain of those things because I'm married, because I understand man's point of view better, like if I would be a single female.
Oh, I see.
At the same time, are you one of those females that grew up around, like, good-to-go men, fathers, uncles, brothers, whatnot? Do you have that? You see what I'm saying? So if you grew up in this female mumbo-jumbo and you never had a father figure, so you don't know.
I see.
You don't know.
You don't know the actions of men.
You don't understand men as good as you could, or you would have a deeper insight, or you could go to your male figure like your father or brother or whomever to ask, this happened to me, like this guy said this and this, like what do you guys, is this normal? Do you guys do that? Like, you have to do that. You have to make that step forward to understand a man, to so the next time, and vice versa, men the same,
Yeah.
So you, like, if you want to date, that's a many different subject. What I'm saying is, like, I feel male and female should be team players with masculine and feminine energy and just combine it and work as a team. Even, let's say it's a gay couple, like I said again, masculine and feminine, make it work, you know what I mean? That teamwork is needed to just keep the wheels going, because otherwise it's selfish.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. I have a question. Because there's someone who I follow. His name is, I forget his name. His name is,
it's okay, later you can do the, hashtag here, something like that on the video, and I was like, over here, look to the left, that guy.
No, Alan, let's see, okay, here we go. Author Alan Roger Curry, right? And so he has, he's made several books, he's an author, and he's basically a coach, life coach. He also coaches men on how, relationships and all that and so forth. And he came up with the direct role, right? And they have different facets, right? And he explains the different types of people, the manipulators, people who are, females who are actually receptive, some people who are time wasters and all that stuff, whatever. So his argument is that there are a lot of men, well, not his argument, but his philosophy is that it's better to take a direct approach, because when you take the direct approach, you can immediately decipher who you're dealing with. Like, let's say, if you want sex with a woman, you have to basically be upfront and honest. Be like, listen, I don't want long-term relationships with you. I don't want any of that. I want just that. Whereas other people who tend to be like, hey, I'd rather beat around the bush, because if I'm too direct, then she may be like, oh, this guy only wants me for sex or whatever. So what do you think? Like, would you rather, you know what I'm saying to you? Like, would you rather a guy try to beat around the bush and try to meet, or be like, hey,
that's a tricky one, but at the same time, I will tell you, maybe it depends on females. So many females these days are like hit and run themselves, not only men, you know what I mean? So many females like, yeah, you today, tomorrow, forget about it. Like, there's a lot of that going on in my generation and newer generations, that maybe I am a little bit on the old school side. And what I mean by that, you as a female, you lady, do that lady thing, you know what I mean? What I mean by that is, if man comes up to me and says, well, I just want to hit and run, down for that.
No, not that direct approach. I'm talking about direct.
Just disclosing up front. So, right?
Intentions. Obviously, it's got to be doing
exactly.
Smoothly.
Okay, so whatever. Okay, smoothly. Okay, I see that too. I am one of those female. I almost feel like I rather take around the bush approach, not the direct.
You serious?
Because I feel that you remove that. You gotta work to get this. You see what I'm saying? Like doesn't come easy. You like I need you like. And if you are intelligent and intuitive female, you kind of a date in or two, you kind of will be already able to tell what this is all about. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest. I'd rather find out that way, and even if I'm interested, just slip into that and then slip easily out without being a direct approach, because I feel direct approach cheapens things and gets a little on the hoary side. And
No. But okay, I need to be fair to him. His direct approach is not all about sex, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be sex right then and there. It's the direct approach of like, this is who I am, this is what I'm after, and I'm laying my cards down. I'm not actually, I don't want to have a relationship with you. I want strictly non-monogamous sexual contact with you. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have it today, and it doesn't necessarily mean about sex. It can be 3 months into the relationship, but I'm not really looking for a long-term relationship with you. Whereas his argument is that a lot of men take this whole, I'm going to date you, I'm going to be your one and only in order for me to get that piece of sex and then run out.
Yeah, I see.
Whereas his approach is like, listen.
I understand that. Yeah. So like I said, the tact is important. So that's, I guess, what I'm trying to base this on. I could see that once you slip into that, you kind of get into that disclosure like thing. I kind of see it, and that's the way, if it's done right, actually might actually be respectful towards you.
Yeah.
Because at this point you have exit strategy. You see what I'm saying? As a female, if this doesn't meet what you want. So I could see that it's all about how it's so subjective. Oh my God, because the dance of the dating and all that stuff is so intuitive. It's so.
But question for you though. But do you think? And
sometimes
but as for him though, and he also and a lot of other people, their argument is, you basically have to have a good mouthpiece. Like you have to.
Yeah, you have to be like a good actor. Or
No. In order to take the direct approach, you really have to have good game.
Yeah, you gotta have game. Yeah, like you gotta be smooth operator. Yeah, you gotta be like that guy.
To be able to whereas, and so other people's argument is that direct approach is good, it works, but for the majority of men, they have to take the back way approach because they don't have that ability to be so smooth and ability to capture someone.
Yeah, see, I understand all that. It's so funny. Like, it so depends on personalities and people and be able to make that dance work. Because I could see that dance where it's not disclosed up front might be even something nicer and more enjoyable than, you know what I mean? Or it can be cut at the knees.
No, so, but even though like at the end of the day the dude's gonna roll out.
I mean, he's still gonna roll out, but what I'm saying is, if I'm that intuitive female,
you already
then
know.
I already kind of know. So, I sign on the dotted line at the bottom of the contract that I see the illusion I'm being sold, and I'm okay with this illusion, and I will play that game. That's what I'm saying. It so depends on who you're dealing with and what kind of dance that is. Because, like I said, I have a nice guy come in and he doesn't really know how to make that delivery smoothly work. And then for females, like, oh, what a boss that was. There could be something nice. Now this is freaking just... But I wanted it if you wouldn't open your freaking mouth and deliver.
Yeah, he says that often too, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, but there are some operators that can operate through that. But it depends what kind of female is receiving the information. You might have that female like, well, if you're not interested in me for the long run, why would waste time? So for some guys, like, okay, I'm cool with that then. But some other females actually walk away with that, like, I just have to defend pride. I mean, I would mess around, but once you say it up front, like, I'm a whore or something, you know what I mean? Like, so it so depends what and who we're dealing with.
So do you think that a man should take a direct approach in all instances, or do you think he should be able to do no? Because his argument is that the direct approach should be.
There's no, in my opinion, I don't think there's clean science to that. I think you need to dance through it and see how the dance goes.
So okay, so for you wouldn't always want the direct approach, even though the direct approach is smooth.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. That's the whole thing. One guy can deliver it, and I'm like cool with it, and the other guy can deliver it. I'm like, oh, what a bust. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like dancing, right? Let's say we have a salsa room, and the men change out on females, and they start dancing, right? So one comes in and starts dancing. I'm like, I mean, I can dance. He's fine. He knows his steps. But then I'm like, I mean, he's good looking, but he can't dance the way I want to feel this dance, you know? And then I get another guy, and I was like, he's maybe barely a 6, but yo, dude can dance, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's that thing that you can't explain, it just works. You see what I'm saying? I feel there's this intuitive, I have, you know, somebody invited me to dance like salsa once, and I'm like, oh, he's acting like he knows how to dance, but you're like, he sucks, he can't lead for life of him. So, and then I get another guy, and he's like, all right, we got nights going on. Like, I don't care to date you. Like, prime example, I literally don't care to see you tomorrow. As a female, I'm dancing and enjoying this dance right now, but I don't want to see you tomorrow. But the dance is good. It works. It's so smooth and enjoyable. It has so many layers and colors. And tomorrow, if you call me, I don't want to see you. But you know what I mean? But then I have this. Maybe I have this dance here, and I'm like, it's okay. I mean, he's, you know, he got going on here, but he sucks at dancing. But I could see how he can be molded into it. You know what I mean? So it's so weird.
So there's no one thing
from my standpoint, I don't think there's a formula that's that easy. Yeah. That's something is just.
Johnny Fontana, Real World, and Scorpio. We out.